Another welcome to Prime Sports. Tonight, Umeri Razak Musbao. Now, tonight, 12 teams have secured their slot in next year's Women's African Cup of Nations tournament, and it's South Africa who are looking to defend their title, which they won in 2022, and after seeking to emulate the successful title defense in 2022, which showcased improving Pan-African depth. Now, Bayana, as they're popularly called, displayed a resilience as Linda Mothalo and Nicole Michel secured a 2-0 victory over Burkina Faso in gripping return leg at Pretoria Lucas Morape Stadium on Monday. So you're just going to see the teams that have qualified on your screen. So yeah, South Africa, qualifying there after that good win in their qualifiers. Then Algeria also secured a win over Burundi, and it saw them qualify. Then DR Congo, another team that was able to secure that win. The Botswana have also secured their tickets in the tournament, and Nigeria also, they've won the tournament 9 times, and they've been able to clinch another qualifications to the tournament with some very, very high scoring, big aggregate. They ended up winning that qualifying round by 7-2 on aggregate there. And Zambia, there are also some big winners. They managed to clinch another very big win. 12 goals they scored in their final round of qualifiers over there. Zambia securing their slot also there. Tunisia also returning to the tournament after missing out. And after a while, Tanzania also have been able to secure their qualification to the tournament, and will be looking to impress when the tournament finally comes off in Morocco next year, somewhere in July. Of course, Ghana, they missed out in previous editions. Last time they were in the tournament was in 2018 when the country hosted it. Nora Haptel, leading the charge, was able to ensure that the team qualified. Mali also secured qualification and will be looking to impress at the tournament in Morocco, of course. So that's the 11 countries you saw on your screen. But Morocco, who are the host nation, have also will also be participating in it. They hosted it last year and they're hosting it again. And last year they went all the way to the finals, and will be hoping to clinch their first ever WAFCON title. Well, quite exciting football to look forward to in July of 2024. But well, let's listen to head coach of the Black Queens, who says she is positive and optimistic about the chances of the team in the tournament come next year.
The performance today is closed because we qualified. Ghana is back on the WAFCON, and we are hungry and willing to play there. And I think a lot of players deserve it. They play some very long time for the Queens. Some maybe for some it's the last WAFCON. We have some young players, for them it's the first time. So in general we have a very young squad. Need to develop and work and continue our mission Volta. I'm proud of this year. We won out of 10 games, and I think we can have a nice Christmas.
Well, it means everything to us because we've been away for the AFCON for almost 5 years now. So it's a great achievement. It's good. Like she said, we are a young team. They are upcoming, so we're going to improve on every aspect of the game.
Well, we're going to be speaking to sports journalist Abigail Senasu to just take a closer look at those teams that have qualified for the tournament in Morocco come next year. She'll join us pretty shortly via Zoom. But let's get to Accra to Folk now, where their board member, Vincent Soa Odote, has rejected claims of poor player welfare at the club, insisting that their players are now driving cars and building houses because they are paying them well. Now, multiple reports have bemoaned the lack of proper player welfare at the club, culminating in their recent poor performances in the Ghana Premier League. However, board member Vincent Sowodote has rebuffed the claims and insisted that the players are well paid, and the club, in fact, is on course to achieve great success this season and beyond.
Heartful. Now, everything is in place for the club to be successful. Everything is in place for the club to be successful. House of Folk players who have not traveled abroad before are building houses. They are buying cars. The players are well paid. We look at their welfare. I mean, I recall a video which was circulated just before the season. House of Hope players arriving at their hostel where they were driving cars. And we think that we have everything in place, which is necessary in any endeavor. So we thought that the software issue which were missing, Koopman will come. So definitely, that's why we signed 3 years with him. We intended to really go the long haul with him. But it's unfortunate, in life these things happen. So we are disappointed, but we have to move on. We have to continue to learn from it and to make sure that we steer the club to the expectations that people have.
Now, Slovakia side Zelina have expressed interest in 6 Guinean players during the scouting tournament organized by Pangel's Consult. They will monitor the growth of the players for a possible move to Europe. And my colleague Arun Mubarak was at the event and he came to this report.
Live, there was a penalty from the number 4 jersey.
5 teams, namely Africa Youth, Santa All Stars, Changing Lives, Action V, and Kengid, were invited to participate in a scouting tournament held at the Tuba AstroTurf in Kaswa. 4 matches played, including the final, which was mainly a selected side from the participating clubs. Zelina, a prominent top-tier team in Slovakia, had their scout in attendance throughout the 5-hour tournament and were impressed with the level of skill displayed.
I have to say that I saw very interesting players. Some of them are old for us, but they have future maybe in Ghana. And of course we picked some players that we will follow in future, and maybe we will take them to the Slovakia for a trial, and they can achieve something in Europe.
You spoke about being impressed with some of the players. What was your criteria in scouting these players?
Criteria is simple. The first criteria is movement abilities of the players, and of course the individuality of the players that is interesting for us, and some I would say we say the weapon is a special parameter that player can interest some people or some coaches, and of course another scouts in Europe.
How many have you gotten?
How many?
The players, yes. How many have impressed you? How many? The number?
Today?
Yes, today.
I would say 4, 5, 6 players are really interesting for us.
Pamela Ansa Asamoah, responsible for assembling the clubs and organizing the tournament, shared her motivation behind the initiative.
So after I thought that when I travel outside, I see a lot of talent, but they don't have the exposure. And those in Accra, a lot of the time, because of the city life, so you realize our national teams are just going down by performance. So I thought to maybe put something together and bring. So if you realize I brought some people from Kofoidia and then some people from BA. It's just the beginning. So we are looking at when we get bigger to bring people from all over, maybe from the north, so that those out there will also get this opportunity and be exposed. And then at least they'll be identified and moving forward. We see them in the future for our national teams and in the foreign teams as well.
Beautiful play. And these are things that we're looking for in Ghana football. Do you get it? These are what we're looking for. Because with this, we can go far. Because if it's a day game, and look at those 3 teams that they have played, the standard was very, very great. Very, very great standard. And this is what we're looking for Mother Ghana. And I know we'll go far. So which means the 2023-2024 league coming, it will be very tough. Because we're having the teams from Brongahafo and Eastern Region playing 2 teams from Accra West, and that is very great.
The scouting tournament marked the inaugural event organized by Pangel's Consult in collaboration with Zelina, and young footballers now have a real chance to impress and potentially secure a move to Europe in subsequent tournaments.
Well, let's make a quick return to that story on the Women's African Cup of Nations tournament, where 12 countries have secured the slot in the tournament slated for next year in Morocco. Abigail Senesosu is a sports journalist who follows the women's game on the continent very closely, and she joins me via Zoom for some quick chat on that qualification round that has ended. Abigail, thank you so much for making time with us on Prime Sports tonight. Just on top of your head, I mean, sure, you've seen all the countries that have gained qualification. Any surprises in there for you?
Well, good evening once again. But for me, I look at the 12 nations that have been able to qualify for the tournament next year, and I see no amount of surprise because gradually everybody is learning to play the game, because the game is one important thing on the continent and we know what it brings. And now that most especially it is bringing in a lot of income. Who wouldn't want to be a part of something great? At least you have fun, you exhibit your talent, and then you are getting something substantial out of it. So for me, I am not too surprised, but maybe the ish, or maybe that little tickle, will be the 4-time finalists who were unable to make the cut. I'm talking about Cameroon, who were booted out by by Kenya in the first round, and also Ivory Coast, who were also booted out by Tanzania in the first round as well. So, you know that when it comes to the West African region, we are big on women's game. And so that will be the little problem for me, but it was not too much of a surprise because look at how the Kenyans and Tanzanians began this qualifier. It shows you that everybody wants to make a name for themselves on the continent. Who knew much about Zambia, but they shot into limelight, learned, and now even able to go for a World Cup tournament and all of that. So I think it was a good fight by all of the countries on the continent to see that we have 4 representatives from West Africa, 3 from North Africa, 3 from South Africa, each from Central Africa and Eastern Africa. Tells you that West Africa still dominates, the talents abound, and we do really love the game. And moving forward, just maybe the other countries on the continent will just catch up. So personally, I'm not too surprised. I know that all of these countries want to show something come June in Morocco.
Well, interesting there. Well, of course, of more interest for us, the Black Queens, who finally have been able to return to the tournament since playing in 2018 when we hosted it in the country. Some say that in Namibia, away from home, they had a good test. There are those who are still of the view that the team has not been properly tested. And they say that the tournament will be a fine opportunity to test the mettle of the team. The likes of Zambia, Cameroon, of course, not playing, the like of Zambia, Nigeria, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. These are teams that people are hoping that the Black Queens will get to face at least before the tournament do kick off, so they could be tested properly ahead of the tournament. Is this a view you share? And based on the performance of the girls against Namibia in that second leg, do you think we saw a good test of the Black Queens?
Well, since Nora took up the job in February, if there's one thing she's maintained, at least when you listen to her pressers and interviews she's granted, she accepts that there's a mission to rebuild a national team. And so they dubbed the whole process mission voter to make sure the Black Queens or our senior women national team gets back on her feet to be able to compete at that level. And she has said that it is just by dint of determination, focus, and not looking down on each other or being complacent that has brought them thus far. So they know that we are not up there like we used to be when we're commanding the numbers, commanding places on the continent. Yes, we had our very low moments and we are picking ourselves back up. I feel that we do not need to rush playing some of these big guns. Accepted. South Africa has gone miles ahead of us. Nigeria has gone miles ahead of us. I dare even say Zambia, because come on, the last World Cup, they were there. So when it comes to that level of exposure in recent times, just maybe they have it a little more than us. But what I have also noticed with this team is that in time past, in the last 4 or 5 years, we've seen a lot of players leave the shores of the country. And when you look at their play in recent times, that exposure has really brought us the best in them. I can give you two vivid examples in Grace Asantwa in midfield and Doris Bedua up front. I tell you, 2-3 seasons ago, you can get games that Doris has played for Hazaketh Ladies and watch that game. She really came out of her shelves to play in the first leg here in Accra, and you will attest the fact that her ability to finish has really improved, her stamina, her will to go on against any other opponent, no matter who is coming after her, has really changed. Now, Vesa Saswa is the most comfortable in any midfield that you let her play. So I think that gradually that exposure is giving us some good results. And so it will, with time, I'm sure if we're able to keep the core of this team, or most of them, continue to enjoy that playing time they have away from home and even at home. Look at Stella Nyamiche. I've said that she's given a good testament for all of our local players. Unfortunately, Comfortable didn't get to play a part of this game, even though she earned that collar. But away in Ivory Coast with Afrin Dakwa against the likes of class from this same Morocco as far. Remember, they are just the core of the senior national team. So we all know what they are also made up of. So it's a good blend of our local players and the foreign players who also get from that experience out there. I believe that with time, we'll get up there, and when we play with the South Africans, with the Nigerians, people will get to appreciate that. I understand. It's been a long time we've seen the Black Queens in that shape, and so people will say that they want to see that just to be able to judge the thing. But let's not do that prematurely and allow Nora to work on the team and develop them as much as she's doing. Accepted. We needed to lose along the line to at least know that, at least tell ourselves that we are also beatable. So we need to also do some things right when we play. And I think that at the time we lost, it shouldn't really be a problem. We had already done the needful, but that has also overlooked the fact that this team has loopholes that Nora will also have to really work on.
Abigail, we appreciate your time, and of course we'll do more of the analysis of the Black Queens ahead of that tournament next year in June. That's Abigail Senesusu, sports journalist and strong enthusiast of women's football in Ghana and on the continent. Let's do some tennis now, where the Ace Tennis Academy and the Air Force Officers Mess Sports Complex came together to organize the Love Ball Tennis Tour in Accra earlier on Saturday. There is more in the following report by my colleague Kwame Benaya, who was there.
The maiden edition of the Love Ball Tennis Tour saw talented kids present at the Air Force Officers Mess Tennis Court to showcase their talent. Kids with outstanding performances were awarded for their efforts with medals and certificates. According to founder and CEO of Ace Tennis Academy, Nashika, the event was organized to give kids the chance to participate in bigger tournaments.
So the whole idea of putting together the Love Ball project or the Love Ball tournament is to focus on the thousands of kids who love tennis, play tennis with their parents or at homes or in academies like mine, or with coaches on different tennis courts, but usually they wouldn't engage in national tournaments because they feel like, oh, the level is higher than them, or they get intimidated, or they're shy, or nervous. So we're here today to organize an event like this, that way we give them the space and the freedom to express themselves with the same skill level. That way they can try to triumph during these events, and then eventually we may be able to get them to participate in bigger tournaments.
After a successful event, Nashika is already looking forward to another edition of the Love Ball Tennis Tour.
Moving forward, we are going to be organizing more of these tournaments, and also having the Air Force Officers Mess partnering with us to even start run our tennis academy here at the Air Force Officers Mess. It's given us the opportunity to utilize facilities like this and grow the sports more. So definitely we're going to be doing more of this. We may be doing a little bit more in Accra and then eventually move to other regions in the country, including Tamale. So next year we want to do more of these tournaments, get these kids together, get them to socialize and get them to compete against each other.
Enime Duasare, who is a parent, was happy with what he witnessed at the event.
I think it's a good drive for us to nurture some of the young ones, the talents around, to play tennis as well, so that we can concentrate on other sports as well, apart from soccer. And I'm happy with the tournament generally, healthy minds, healthy body, along those lines.
To Germany now for some latest in Germany's domestic football league, the Bundesliga and more. And for that, we are joined by Chris Harrington, all the way from Berlin, Germany. Chris, good to have you again. Well, let's start with the international pitch. And of course, Germany, their under-17 squad managed to clinch the World Championship. And of course, there was also the Euro 2024 draw that did take place. Of course, that tournament is coming off in Germany. Quick thoughts on that. Good success for the under-17, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been good news for the under-17 squad in Indonesia. The Germany team defeated France. They were down 10 men. And it's remarkable. I mentioned earlier in the week, last week, some of the social media attacks the team received, the racial abuse they received. Well, clearly it did not deter the squad at all. And with 10 men down, they showed their resilience. The hero of the day was their goalkeeper, Konstantin Haida, a real young man. He was uncertain if he'd even check in the entire tournament. He came in the semifinals, and he was there in the penalty shootout, and that's why they won. You know, Haida, after winning, said basically it comes down to a lot of luck, and clearly luck was on Germany's side, and they were victorious, and they doubled up. Not only is the under-17 team European champions, but also world champions. So the future looks really bright for the Germany squad in years to come. As far as the European Championship 2024 draw, a big deal because Germany, we are hosting that tournament right here, you know, but the coach, Julian Nagelsmann, who is really a Band-Aid, he's not going to be on there for a long time. He's going to assumably get a club job following the tournament. He called their group not a group of death, but a very good one. Germany was in a group with Switzerland, Scotland, and Hungary. The Germans will open up against Scotland in Munich on June 14th before facing Hungary and Stuttgart in their following match. You know, I think it'll be interesting to see. They're clearly not the favorites. The German side are not, despite being hosts. You know, I think it'll be a very dicey tournament. Hopefully, Germany will represent themselves properly, considering their two previous major tournaments and their lackluster performances. But all in all, I think the under-17 team definitely deserves to be applauded for what they've accomplished in Indonesia when winning the World Cup. And the German big boys in the European Championship this summer, we'll have to wait and see what they bring to the pitch.
Chris, let's stay on that, European Championship next year in Germany. The opening game is against Scotland, is one that, of course, Julian Nagelsmann got his eyes on and looking forward to improving the team to be ready for that opening game. They've had pretty rough, friendlies as far as, the run to that tournament is concerned. What's your estimation of the team as far as their performance at the tournament is concerned?
Yeah, I talked about the European Championships. The prize money has been announced for this particular tournament. Only 24 million euros. It's not the same as the World Cup, of course. You have more teams competing in the World Cup. And it's very interesting to see that the money has not increased at all since the previous European Championship. I find that to be quite interesting. And in terms of Germany's chances of winning, a team has to win every match. And they will, win that lump sum of money. I don't know. I think the favorites of that tournament, you'll have to look at England and, of course, France in terms of any teams that could easily be classified as a favorite and have money be put behind them. Germany, I think, is a long shot, as I've been talking about, but I'll be here to bring you all the updates as we get more information about the German national team prior to the tournament kicking off this summer.
Well, Chris Harrington, thank you very much. That's Chris Harrington with our partner station DWTV, joining us all the way from Berlin, Germany. And that's all we have for you on Prime Sports tonight with me, Razak Musbao. Chelsea is losing to Manchester United, and hopefully tomorrow we'll talk more about it. Have a lovely evening.